Jedi, at last will have revenge. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
By my good friend and fellow Sith Lord, who is a master of the dark side, expert on the occult, and obtainer of rare antiquities and holograms. Please welcome Dark Lord of the Sith, David!
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing better than Benioff and Weiss. That's what I'm doing.
Whoa! We're gonna cut that deep right now.
I'm just saying, let people know we are talking about the Benioff and Weiss Game of Thrones boys. A little bit of Mandalorian, the soundtrack. Disney Plus, it's around the corner. Some Funko Pop action. Yeah, it's gonna be a good show. Oh, as well as a new edition.
Oh dear Jesus! Where did you get that?
IG 11 from Best Buy. Picked her up today.
Him,
her, whatever. It's a droid. That's non-binary. Yeah, so I got my IG 11 today from Best Buy. Moments ago.
Moments ago, like just moments ago.
Moments ago. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about me buying Black Series figures.
I think you're going down a path.
I know. I'm afraid. What's happening, John.
So, interestingly enough, we were talking about the Funko thing. I think it was last night, which we're going to get into more detail later. It was last night or yesterday or whenever. When I was telling the girlfriend about it, it was like, look at all these Funko Pops that are coming out. Dave wants like the Knights of Ren to have names. Like he's like, give them like names and things like that.
Charlie Ren, Mac Ren, Johnny Ren.
I said Craig, and he was like, okay, yeah, we can see if that works. Like, he makes the decisions on Knights of Ren names.
In my mind, I do.
But anyway.
There's Laser, Blazer, Taser, and Azer.
Those are just rhymes.
It's a dodgeball reference.
But anyway, so I was looking through them, and I was showing her, and I said, look at these. And she's like, oh, that's pretty cool. She's like, wait. Does David collect Funkos? I said no. But I have gone and fought with myself back and forth about buying him one.
No.
And giving it to him. And she's like, what? And I said, David's a completionist. So if he has one or a couple, he's going to have to complete the set. And she's like, so why don't you just buy him one? I said, okay, so here's the thing. I could buy Dave one, and he'll be a completionist, and he'll finish out the completion, or he'll sell that one. Mm-hmm. And won't care that it hurts anybody's feelings that they got it for him. I said, that's one thing that'll happen. Or two things. I said,
Can't wait for this right here.
The third thing that will happen
Dave's revenge.
Is Dave will seek revenge. And Dave will seek revenge in a way that it will cost you more money in the long run to undo what David does to you by purchasing you something, knowing your tics and how you operate. I said, so that's why I have not pulled the trigger and ordered him a Funko Pop yet, because in the long run, I will end up spending more money than if I just teased him about it.
Which I'm still saddened at the fact that you have not purchased the Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Like, the Casa just went on the market. I've had a lot of people look at it this weekend already. I'm pretty excited about that. But anyway, Casa just went on the market. I spent a lot of money to get that ready. And there's a lot of things that I want to buy right now. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to wait and see.
I get it, but that's why man-made plastic. You swipe it, it burns. You know, it melts a little bit in your pocket, but it's the American way.
Well, it's consumers. That's why we have credit scores. But anyway, I will be getting it so I can put it side by side in my future podcast room.
Oh man, he's already decided he's gonna have a podcast room, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'll call it John's room. I don't know if I'll call it the podcast room.
It's gonna be John's.
I think Dave like sits in his chair in his podcast. He calls it the podcast room, and just like spins around in the chair, like, oh, books and pictures and things.
Well, I still haven't set up everything yet because again, like you mentioned, it is expensive, and I need to get a bunch of things framed and put up, and it'll happen. Just not right now.
And now he's buying Black Series figures.
It's anarchy, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you guys that have the same affliction for Black Series figures or Funko Pops, you hear my cry. But that's not what we're talking about today. Well, we are talking about Funko Pops, but
I'll say we're talking about Funko Pops.
But let's hit it with Benioff and Weiss first, because we touched on it last week. A little bit more deets came out, literally like a day or two after we aired, and we shot a podcast episode, which this is episode 113, correct?
Your favorite number? Well, minus the first one.
Exactly. I'm down with 13, but 113, it was a whole Halo thing. John, not you, but John, a.k.a. Master Chief, was Spartan 117. Mine was 113. It was a whole big ordeal. I was back in my gaming days. I was a beast. Sniper. All the way. Anyway. What are we talking about, John? I just completely blanked out.
You brought up Benioff and Weiss.
Yes, the Benioff and Weiss boys. So it has come out what those two lads were working on.
Yeah, so they were speculated to or confirmed that their trilogy, their storyline, was going to be written around the days of the Old Republic, and it was going to focus on the origins of the Jedi.
I don't even think they classify that as Old Republic anymore. I think they just said it was like the dawn of like the Jedi.
So it depends. So it depends what articles you read. So they reported this to Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, and so some people have mixed and matched the terms and everything else. But I did read one article that said something about like the Old Republic era and the origins of the Jedi. Now, again, speculative that that's like the era that it took place in and everything else. We really don't know where they would have started at or how that kind of would have worked. But now, at least from Benioff and Weiss, we will not be able to see that from their perspective or their eyes. This whole thing has been a very interesting, and I remember when we talked on the last podcast, which was Thursday, that I mentioned that I was like, hey, something just doesn't seem right to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel there's something going on, and so we know that they signed took a $250 million paycheck to develop content for Netflix in August.
Which
they signed a deal with
direct competitor with Disney Plus.
Yes, and so $250 million in August when they had agreed in February. Yeah, they had agreed in February that they were going to sign on and direct, produce, whatever, these Star Wars. And then as like the months went on, they finished Game of Thrones. For those of you who watched Episode 8, I did confirm it was Season 8, not Episode 8, Season 8. They did a very condensed episodes. They had like 6, I think it was. Some of them were an hour and a half long. They received a lot of backlash.
Oh yeah, there was Starbucks cups everywhere, water bottle in every scene. It was ridiculous. It was anarchy.
Yeah, so they received a lot of backlash about Game of Thrones, and they kind of took a step back and were like, okay, we really need to like rethink this. And then I mentioned also that there was an article, which I still never found. I was looking for it, about them saying like, hey, we didn't know what we were doing. We were new at this, and you gave us something that was huge, and blah, 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 and why would y'all do that? And so regardless, it comes down to the fact that Star Wars fans are kind of unforgiving about things at times, and the speculation is that there could have been concerned about the fact that they didn't want to ruin Star Wars or go down the same path that they did with Game of Thrones, and that's why when the Netflix deal came up, it gave them the ability to exit stage left, as I mentioned. We also were told that they were going to be producing the next movie that was coming out in December of 2022 instead of directing it, when originally it was supposed to be a trilogy. So some people are speculating also that was kind of Lucasfilm's way of saying, hey, let's back off, or their way of saying, hey, we're going to go back and we're going to retract what we originally said we were going to do. So, like I said, we know they weren't fired. That has been confirmed. They left on their own accord. It was their decision.
Or that's the story that's out right now.
Yeah. And like I told you, and you made this comment where you said, this is the story we're being told right now, but there could have been an announcement made 6 weeks ago that we didn't put together, and they made them separately on purpose, just so that people didn't think that was the effect. It wasn't a cause and effect situation. So, really, at this point, what's being reported is that they were not fired. Their series, or their trilogy was supposed to be on the origins of the Jedi. And they have decided to take Netflix's $250 million deal instead of go with Star Wars. Potentially because of the fact they don't want to ruin it like people said they did with Season 8 of Game of Thrones.
You know, earlier you said the Star Wars fandom is unforgiving. Yes and no. Not completely unforgiving. I would say it takes about 10 years, and then everybody warms up to it. And when I say that, I'm talking literally episode 1. 10 years ago, episode 1 was the most hated film like possible. People hated Jar Jar Binks. People hated just the story. Yippee! All the little lame Anakin things. And now, because the fandom has aged, and those that saw it and loved it then, despite the OG, people that, lived with the original trilogy, they weren't a fan of it. But now it's the cat's pajamas. I literally saw a little kid dress up as Jar Jar Binks for Halloween. I gave him some candy. I was like, what up, dude? Probably had no idea what the hell he was dressed up as. Why are you just blinking rapidly?
Because I'm very surprised. This is like a sidebar. I'm very surprised at how hip you still stay, Dave. OG, cat's pajamas. The girlfriend's brother says OG all the time, and I'm like, other guy?
No, John, not other guy. Oh, gosh.
I literally am sitting over here I don't understand this terminology of these new generation. I need a book or a dictionary that tells me all these things.
OG is not a new term by any means. It's not. What was that? I said a phrase the other day to you via text or on the phone. I don't remember what the hell it was. But you're like, I've never heard that before. Oh my god, I forgot what it was, but it blew my mind because I say that phrase a lot.
There was another phrase that the girlfriend said to me too, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I had to go Google it.
God,
and I was like,
"God love you, Johnny."
So in my mind, I was like, "I think I know what this is."
You were way off.
But I was actually spot on.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Spot on,
That's
a good thing for John. I was spot on, and I was like, I'm very proud of myself, but I never, ever would have thought that terminology would have been used. And it surprised me that she used it. And I was like, kind of proud of her. But anyway,
there you go.
So,
as we digress into terms, new and old, I just think the Star Wars fandom takes time. It takes time to digest it. It takes time to dig it. You weren't a fan of the first season, first couple of episodes of the Clone Wars. You got past it, and now you're like, oh, okay. You might not enjoy watching those first episodes again, but you know where it takes you. So you're a little okay, more accepting of it.
Yeah, and I also think that over time, I haven't seen the last season of Game of Thrones, but the first time I watched it. So I watched it when the shows came out. I haven't rewatched it. And you brought up something on the last episode about the fact that The Last Jedi is gaining traction on your list. It's moving up the list.
It really is.
And so, interestingly enough, Dave and I have the same, we have a Voodoo account, or I have a Voodoo account, and Dave uses it, and The Last Jedi's on there. And So I was looking at it, and I went to go watch a movie on there the other night, and I was like, it's hilarious because I saw The Last Jedi as like a paused movie, and I was like, oh crap, Dave's watching it again, and I was like, you know what? I should give it a chance again. Like I watch them. I haven't like put a Star Wars movie on randomly just to play in the background in a long time, and usually I end up putting music on, or I'm like, I end up putting something on and I fall asleep. But I saw it and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and watch. I was like, no, because it's paused. He's watching it. Like you've never seen it before. You're never gonna know where you pick back up. And I was like, nah, I'll just wait. And then I ended up watching something completely different. But it made me laugh because it's like, oh, Dave's watching it again and it's moving up his list. So
Like I don't know what it is about
the
that
same
darn
thing.
movie. I keep watching it. That has become my go-to Star Wars movie as of late. I want to say over the last like 3 months, like I'm like, oh, let me watch The Last Jedi. I don't know what it is about
Well,
it. I can't explain it. I don't know if I'm mentally wanting to gear up and memorize the movie before Rise of Skywalker, or I just love the dynamic between Kylo and Rey.
well, so for me, I think what it comes down to is you know the movie.
Yeah.
If anybody I know can remember things like from a movie, like I like to think I have a good memory. It's kind of gone downhill over the last couple of years, in a very bad way. And so I think you remember movies extremely well. You remember actors and things like that. So I don't think that's the case. I think it's just something that you're like, I think it piques your interest. And you guys don't know Dave, like I know Dave, but Dave is like, he'll be a day off, he'll put on a Star Wars movie and do stuff around the house. He'll be on his iPad, he'll play games. Like he could just be sitting there doing absolutely nothing, but not like watching the TV, but he'll be listening to it, but doing like he could just be chilling on his phone, playing, like I said, doing whatever. That's what Dave does sometimes on his days off. So he watches those movies, in my opinion. He puts them on his background noise a lot. And I don't think it's you're trying to memorize it. I think you're just there's something about it that catches your attention that you're like, okay, well, I want to know a little bit more about this. So did I hear this correctly? Did I see this correctly? And it starts like jogging your memory, and then it helps you start thinking of potential, in my opinion, potential things that you could see.
Possibly. And, I'm going to say it right now. Before we go into Rise of Skywalker, at some point between now and then, John, we got to have another evaluation of our movie rankings. So, whether that means you're going to rewatch them again, or watch them with a girlfriend, watch them by yourself, or just think long and hard about it. But I think, I know at least I need to reevaluate where mine rank.
I just feel like mine have not changed that much. But again, like I said, I have not put on a Star Wars movie to like watch or just to put on as background noise in a while. And so I need to do that. Usually I end up putting on music or something like that, and I just don't pay attention. But for me, my list, I don't think would change.
Okay.
And I don't remember every spot on the list.
No, for sure.
But I'm pretty sure that my list is pretty consistent. I will tell you the other day though, as we get into this, we're like digressing off of like
it's all right. If they're listening, they like Star Wars, and they might like us, and they're just going with it. Same word of the night.
So I was going through Voodoo again, and I was like trying to find a movie, and I was like, no, Solo is like my number one pick. It's like the one I was like, and I have not had the urge or anything to watch it.
That was your number one movie?
I'm almost positive Solo was my number one movie.
I got to go back and look in the archives.
It's been a while since I still have the pictures on my phone.
It's been about a year.
They're back there.
It's been about a year. Yeah.
No.
John, it has our old logo on it.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you, my man. I put that pic together. I know. But no, so like right now, if we have to talk about it, I'm gonna go first. Give you time to think. Where do you rank the TV series, and where are you gonna put the Mandalorian when it comes out? So like in my mind, the Mandalorian's already gold. In my mind, Mandalorian's already number one, and I'm including that with the animated featurettes. were series. So in my mind, I'm going to go Mandalorian. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance. And it's hard for me to put Resistance in not Resistance, Rebels in 3 because I love Thrawn so much. But just the stories and how many seasons they got to really flush out in the Clone Wars was fantastic. So many great new characters came out of the Clone Wars. So I got to go Clone Wars as my number 2.
So, guys, this will never happen again in podcast history on
We're
the
the
Little
exact
2.
same. I already know.
Exact same.
Oh, man.
Regardless, Star Wars Resistance is absolutely last for me.
Yeah.
Clone Wars has changed my mindset. Like, love the series, everything else. But there's a special place in my heart for Rebels. But I can't put it before Clone Wars. In good faith, what was delivered in Clone Wars and those story arcs and what was told and how it was portrayed, I, in absolute good faith, cannot put Rebels before Clone Wars. But if you asked me to put, like, anything else in front of Resistance, I would do it. Like, I still... Like, one of the questions I would want to ask Filoni is why? Why? And maybe we will find that out. We're only in, final season, but maybe we will find that out. But for me, like, I have to know why you felt this series was needed. Because in my opinion, as of right now, it's not needed. That's my personal opinion. I may not be seeing something other people may see. I may not understand it from their perspective, but for me, I see nothing in this series that the story needed to be told. Rebels, yes, I would say I needed I didn't need it, but I was glad we got the story. Clone Wars, I felt we needed those story arcs. We had to have them. The Mandalorian, again, it's gold.
You just love Werner Herzog.
I don't.
Oh
my God. So I'm not the only one that's talking about that.
It's beautiful, but it's the same damn thing that we got at Celebration. With the addition of like 2 lines. You're the best in the Parsec, blah, blah, blah. It's a shame what they did to your people. Like, those are like the only new lines. Everything else is straight from Celebration.
Bounty hunting's a complicated thing. But, so I was watching something.
I feel like you say that in traffic and you're just like by yourself.
Bounty hunting's a complicated thing. But anyway, so I was actually legit watching live TV the other day, which I usually don't do. And I watched it and I saw it somewhere else, but somebody was like, man, Werner Herzog, like the lines, like, come on, that's awesome. Like, he is like the top character. I didn't say he's the top character in The Mandalorian, but like his lines and the way he portrays him, like everybody's talking about it. Everybody, like, bounty hunting's a complicated thing. Like, I cannot wait. Like, I'm so excited. Like, speaking of that, I'm just gonna so we have signed up for our subscription for Disney Plus, so we can watch it on November 12th, which we are 10 days away because we are recording this episode on November 2nd, and we are 10 days away from Disney Plus launching, and I'm excited to see it.
I'm excited to see IG-11.
Yeah. I'm going to laugh if it's like an episode 8 or 6. No, it's 8 episodes.
So real quick, before we get into the next topic, which you're transitioning beautifully to, have they said when Resistance is going to end? Is it going to end right before The Rise of Skywalker, or is it going to go past it?
So I kind of looked this up. So they don't post any, like, they post like up till the next episode. So for instance, like, the episode airs tomorrow on Sunday, November 3rd. They have that synopsis posted on like Wikipedia or online. And sometimes they have the next synopsis posted. But there is no official timeline that I have seen, and I check at least once a week. I didn't check this week, but I checked previously, like last week and the week before. And I haven't seen like anything like say, hey, you're getting a mid-season finale, and this is where it goes. Like I said, my speculation is purely based off of what we got in season 1. I think there's going to be a season break, and then we're going to come back after The Rise of Skywalker. but I haven't seen anything yet.
I'm just trying to look real quick, see if I can find anything different on it. But yeah, they gave me a description all the way to episode 6, which takes place on 11/10.
Yeah, so they usually give you the current episode that's coming up and then one more, but they don't give you any more than that. And that's what I don't. Let me try this.
Yeah, I'm looking on even Wikipedia right now. Nothing. It's just telling me season 1 was 21 episodes and ended on March 17th, 2019. And it says this one episodes to be announced. So who knows?
Yeah, so even on Wikipedia, it says season 2 episodes TBA. Originally first aired October 6, 2019. Last aired TBA for season 2. So there's no information about season 2. Now, obviously they know, but like for instance, Wikipedia has it up till episode 8 in season 2, which airs on November 24th. That's all they have, but there's no synopsis. We just have the title of the episodes. So I don't. That's the. But I think by now we knew there was going to be a mid-season finale for season 1. I'm almost positive we knew that.
Oh, yeah, we knew there was going to be that break, but I don't know if they're playing it so tight to the chest because it is going to really, really ramp up before Rise of Skywalker. And it's going to add a lot more tidbits, nuggets. It's going to be Kaz and the gang getting... You're going to see Wedge in the cartoon, and then it's going to lead to, oh, we met up with Lando, and now we see how it connects to Rise of Skywalker. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it connects. Again, I'm not gonna beat this horse with the dead stick. Oh, this dead horse, whatever. We've talked about it. I think it'll be subtle, but there will be some kind of connection to Rise of Skywalker. We saw the connection to Episode 7. There was also some small connection, I believe, to Episode 8. If I remember the episodes correctly in Season 2. So I think there will be some small connection. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
We will see. Anyways, about that bounty hunting.
It's a complicated thing.
What were you gonna say about it? Before we backtracked and finished up with the Resistance, which we're like completely behind on the episodes, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know. I need to catch up.
And the sad thing is, I have no urge to watch it.
That's the hard thing for us.
I'm off on Monday. I'm gonna binge them all. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna binge them all. I'm gonna sit down with a bag of popcorn and just go to town watching it.
I'll probably end up watching them tomorrow night. It's hard because I've started like the episode that I've missed like a bunch of times, but I've never finished it. So, but anyway, so we transition into the Mandalorian, which we were talking about earlier, and there was an article that was posted from the LA Times on the composer for the Mandalorian soundtrack, or the music in the Mandalorian. I mean, I would butcher the crap out of his name. I apologize, dude. His first name is Ludwig. His last name is Gornason. It's got the little 2 dots over the O. And this guy is not new to composing movie soundtracks. He was actually the composer for Black Panther, which, great movie. Loved it in the Marvel Universe. They did not expect that movie to do as well as it did, and it did amazing. So the dude just turned 35 and is already a Grammy and Academy Award winning composer.
It's pretty based.
So
I just wish Killmonger would have lived. Random. But
oh, dear Jesus. There is speculation that he comes back in Black Panther 2.
He needs to come back. That dude was a beast.
Like there is speculation that he comes back in Black Panther 2 and that he actually was rejuvenated or revitalized or revived or whatever word you want to use, and he actually never died. and that he comes back, but I don't know his role or what he ends up doing. But I did hear that, so
Either way, we need it.
we'll see. But anyway, so this guy met with Jon Favreau. Obviously, he was introduced through Marvel, and John immediately was like, "I want this guy. I want to talk to him. I want to hear him." And so here are some of the comments that he made. He said, "I wanted to get back to that nostalgic childhood memory I had watching Star Wars." This is Jon Favreau, and the excitement of seeing these kind of really amazing visuals and with music that sounds like it's coming from other planets. The guy said that he tried to. Let me see here. For any film composer, Star Wars is the holy grail of film music because it's the most well-known music. Period. The way I approached it was to try something completely different. The loneliness of a single solo flute, the bass recorder become the sound of the Mandalorian. That's how I started. I wanted the core soul to be organic. Then I wanted to add a tech sound to it, and I also wanted to add on a cinematic orchestra, which makes it feel like Star Wars. How do you feel this guy did? In just the trailers that we've seen, do you feel this guy accomplished his mission, his goal?
I think so. It's a completely different tone than what we've gotten in any other Star Wars live action entity. Um, it's got to be unique. The show's unique. It's going to be a gritty, different take. And I think this guy's hit on it. Obviously, we haven't heard the entirety of the soundtrack and the music he composed for the show, but everything so far, it seems like it blends perfectly in with the surroundings, the tone, the visuals, and I trust in Fav. He didn't direct a single freaking episode of season 1 because he was doing Lion King. He's doing other things, but he oversaw it. This is his baby. He's been dreaming of putting a Star Wars show together since college. Like the guy poured his all into it, whether he was the one bleeding on set with the actors and the filmmakers. He was the one orchestrating and moving everything in place. And I'm sure he had conversations with Filoni and all the other directors, Taiko and whatnot, just saying, "Hey, what if we do it this way? No, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand your vision, but this is not fitting with my overall vision. Let's tweak it this way. Let's go this way. I really wanted to hit on this beat." I know he did that. And I know he worked with the guy that did the music and they found common ground. Or the guy that did the music was like, "Dude, I saw this. This is what I thought. What do you think?" Fav's like, "It's money. It's so money and you don't even know it."
Case Swingers.
I love that movie, man. It's great.
So anyway, yeah. So, and you hit it. You said it exactly right. Fab was looking for something a little bit grittier, a little bit edgier, but tech oriented, but still also gave that classic Star Wars kind of sound. And so I think that he did an amazing job with blending that all together and making it feel like it's still Star Wars, but giving it its own name, giving it its own image and how it portrays it to the fans. I think he did an amazing job. Awesome accomplishments for being 35 years old and doing what he's already done. And so I'm excited to see what else we see from him. We do know, we were told that John Williams' episode 9 was it for him. Like, he's done. The guy is getting up there in age. He's lived an amazing life, had an amazing career. I can't say he lived an amazing life. I don't know him personally, but he had an amazing career. And he has brought so much to the Star Wars universe. And I know one thing that you and I, and probably Sweet Nelson, will never forget was him playing in concert at one of the celebrations. Like, how many people can say, like, there's people out there, but how many people can say, like, they were at a Star Wars event and John Williams did a surprise concert?
Well, not only that, but you're remembering Carrie Fisher. Her daughter, Billie Lourd, comes out on stage. You've got George Lucas in the room. You've got Kathleen Kennedy. Wasn't Harrison Ford there?
Yes.
Like, that's, just the energy in that room. I'll never forget it.
Money, baby. Money.
Fantastic. By all means, I'd love to do it again. But That's not going to happen. That we know of. But before we get any further down the rabbit hole, one thing that we didn't touch on with the Benioff and Weiss guys, which we should have, and I'm thinking about it now. Are we still getting films in 2020, 2022, 24, and 26? And if so, who's helming them? Is it going to be about the original Origins of the Jedi, or are we getting something else?
So a lot of people have been asking this question just based on comments and things that I've read. So this is I have not seen anything official from Lucasfilms or Disney stating that it's not going to happen. We all know that it takes a while. We haven't actually physically sat in the seat of the director chair, but we all know it takes a while to make things happen. Deadlines have to be met. You have to get casting. You have to do all that other stuff. And so I think we have some time. We're in 2019. It's not supposed to hit till December of 2022. So if you think about it, you have what? You have 20, 21, 22. You have almost 3 or so years, about 2.5, before you have to have a product ready to go. And so I think that we have some time, but I don't think they have as much time. You could turn something around in 1.5 years, but is it going to be quality work? Solo, Ron Howard ended up being the one who had to come in at the last minute. He had to reshoot, according to him, over half the movie. And I thought it was a pretty damn good product. I think there was a lot of controversy surrounding it, but there's not been anything official. People are speculating that those movies have now been put on hold and they're going to be dropped off the slate. Disney doesn't operate that way. Like, I guarantee you, as soon as they found out from Benioff and Weiss that they weren't going to do it anymore, they already had something in mind. I don't think it's Rian Johnson either, though, if you want my honest opinion, because we haven't heard anything, and there's been very quiet conversations where we haven't seen or heard anything about that one except from him. So I feel it's not him, but I don't know who. Maybe JJ again. I don't know if JJ will do another movie. He didn't want to do 9. He didn't want to do another one after 7. But we'll see.
Hey, money talks and bullshit walks, my friend. And you know what? That's exactly what Disney's done to all these directors that don't fit into the vision and direction that they want to take the films. Colin Trevorrow, the Lego Movie Bros that were supposed to originally do Solo. Now you got Benioff and Weiss.
The Kevin Feige announcement is that he's going to be producing something with Kathleen Kennedy. That speculation has been that he now, that movie, whatever it is, will now take precedence, and that will end up happening sooner than later. But they're producing it. You still need a director. You still need all this other stuff to happen. You still need writers. You still need all that. So, for me, I think it's still going to happen. Disney put it out there. They committed to it. Not that you can't change it. I just don't think. I can tell you that Celebration next year will be super interesting.
It will be, but if you had to put your flag in the dirt right now and say who is heading up the next film, who would you say? What director? Anybody off the top of your head?
I don't know people like that. I couldn't. John Favreau. That's a pull that out of my pull that out of my butt. I think that would be amazing. He's done a lot of good things.
It could be Fav and Filoni.
He's done a lot of great things with Disney.
It could be a hybrid thing where Fav and Filoni. You know what? Fav takes Filoni under his big bear wing and says, "Hey, let's direct a movie together. We'll direct the first one. You do the second and third by yourself." You know what I mean? That could be it. That could be Filoni's breakthrough after we get the first season or the first episode of The Mandalorian. You never know. If I had to say anything, I'm gonna go with Marvel royalty. I'm gonna go with the Russo brothers.
You just want to see that.
Dude, the films that they did are phenomenal. Winter Soldier, fantastic. And that was their first introduction to the MCU. One of the most enjoyable films. And then they did Avengers and then Endgame. Like, I think they got it, man. Calling it right now. They know how to interweave story and bring in multiple characters and make you cry at the end of the movie.
They made Dave cry. That's why.
Damn right they did when they were talking about you can have all the cheeseburgers you want. Just tears. Just saying, I could see it happen.
It wasn't that bad. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but there's no official announcement from either Disney or Lucasfilm, so we'll have to wait and see. But a lot of people are speculating it's off. I don't think that's the case. I think it'll still go on.
Disney's not going to go ahead and let those dates collapse into themselves like a black hole. You know what I mean? Like a dying sun. They're not going to call it quits because they had issues with a couple directors. There's always somebody else willing, hungry to step up to the plate and take over the mantle of directing a Star Wars movie. Yeah, it's scary as hell, but if you're not scared, you ain't doing nothing right.
Yeah. It's not, I think there's other contingencies. Like, there's other things in place that are affected if those dates don't happen. So I have a feeling they're not going to let it happen. So we'll see. But great point. We'll still continue to stay close to it. When we hear something, we'll go from there. Before we transition to our last three topics, because they're going to go pretty quick, I think, just kind of like, hey, did you hear about this type of thing? We're going to shoot it on over to Mike Mann with CharnelStarWars.com to give us an update on the Galactic Times. Take it away, Mike.
Greetings to all of our friends on Alderaan. It's time for your Galactic Times from Star Wars Daily Weekend Edition, brought to you by Shining Star Cantina, Hotel Stopover, and ChannelStarWars.com. Star Wars news for Star Wars fans by Star Wars fans. Herding nerfs like it's nobody's business. I'm your host, Mike Mann. This week, the second trailer for the upcoming Mandalorian series was released. While there are many of the same scenes as the first trailer released 2 months ago, a few other tidbits were added to show a much deeper, personal story will unfold. While we see a few extra scenes, most notably the Mandalorian sparring off with a pair of what look like Trandoshians, added audio by Werner Herzog's character implies that yes, the Mandalorian is the best in the parsec, as he admits, "It's a shame what happened to your people," as he asks how life is on his planet. Very exciting. We'll get our first on-site in 2 weeks. The Mandalorian debuts on Disney Plus November 12th. Woohoo!
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree?
Since we're on the subject of final trailers, EA released this week the final preview trailer for the upcoming canonical Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order. While we know players play Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan developing his skills to become a Jedi, but now we see more lightsaber action, more of the Ninth Sister, and an amazing temple, most likely the Dark Temple on Antutho, from the comic series of the same name as the game. Simply, beautiful animation will also absolutely add to the wonderfully written storyline. Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order will be released November 15th.
The Empire's hunting Jedi survivors. Cal, they know who you are.
And lastly, we say farewell to the Game of Thrones bros already. Before any Star Wars projects come to fruition, D.B. Weiss and David Benioff were slated by the Mouse to write and produce a new trilogy, but have collectively decided to focus more on a series of Netflix projects instead. To each his own. We at ChannelStarWars.com wish them both nothing but the best in their future endeavors.
It is pointless to resist.
That's all the time we have this week. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms and brace yourselves. The time of toys is upon us. For ChannelStarWars.com, I'm Mike Mann reminding you,
continue with the operation. You may fire when ready.
What?
And now, back to David and John on The Rule of Two, a Star Wars podcast.
Thank you, Mike, for that update on the Galactic Times today. Some of the things we've already talked about, some of the things we added to it. We appreciate you chiming in every Monday on our episode for that. So,
And those poor people from Alderaan that he mentioned at the beginning of the episode.
seriously, I'm done with your all
Yeah,
wrong
you know what?
comments.
You're right. Forget them. They were rebels. They deserved it. Grandma fucking
Terrace.
just dropped it on him. Just said, you know
Terrace.
what? Here you go. Boom. Get out of my face. I love it.
All right, guys. So one of the things that we talked about a little bit earlier in the episode, so we won't spend a whole lot of time on this. So we don't beat it like a whatever. Funko is coming out with some new pops for the Rise of Skywalker that David's going to invest in for himself. And we're getting some Knights of Ren action.
You know what?
Knights of Ren.
I wouldn't mind those, John. I wouldn't mind them. They look
Getting
pretty beast.
getting a Kylo Ren with the red helmet damage that he fixes.
Kinsuki action.
Thank you. And we're getting a Dark Ray.
Not only are you getting a Dark Ray with a double-bladed lightsaber, you're also getting a red-eyed C-3PO.
Exactly.
A red-eyed C-3PO, a Dark Ray. You're getting your Supreme Leader, Kylo Ren. You're getting Craig Ren, John Ren, Howard Ren, Chris Ren, and Kobe Ren.
These names are not sanctioned by Lucasfilms or
No.
Disney.
No,
But
they wouldn't be as bland as that.
These are David's names. But anyway, so these
They change every
pops
time.
are available for pre-order. We posted a link on our website. It's called, or our Facebook, not our website, sorry. It's called popinabox.us. You can go there, look for the Rise of Skywalker Star Wars Funko Pops. The prices range anywhere from about $10.99 to $13. But you can pre-order them. I think there's expected, no. I don't remember the official expected date. I'm sorry. I was going to say March, but I don't think that's the case. There was something else that's really... No, the other Black Series figures are releasing in March.
That's other Black Series figures. These pops will be coming out pretty darn soon.
Yeah, I think they're coming out soon, but you can pre-order now, and I'm sure they'll give you an official date once they come out, but they are available for pre-order. So, pretty cool, very detailed on the Knights of Ren, in my opinion.
They're pretty sick.
The weapons, the clothing, all that interesting, cool stuff. So go check them out. We posted some photos on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, along with the link, so you guys can go pre-order them. Another quick things, just talking about real quick. We got an announcement that the final episode of Vader Immortal, episode 3, will be releasing with Oculus and ILM Labs. And let me see here let me get you
Not later on this month, isn't it?
November 21st, right before
sometime
Thanksgiving. There wasn't as much of a gap between episode 2 and this one.
Maybe it has something to do with Rise of Skywalker. Or maybe it has nothing to do. Maybe that's where they find the dagger that Rey's holding in the trailer.
That's a huge reveal, in my opinion, and they would not do that in something like this.
They could bring credence to it.
They could, but in reality, nobody. If you don't play the game or you don't watch the episodes, you don't know. That's a big reveal, and that they want people to be able to get like a nod. Yes, that's where it came from, like you and I talked about. It's not going to be anything that's like shattering.
Would it be shattering, though?
I think it'd be shattering because I don't play Vader Immortal.
Finding out Rey's a clone in a video game, that's shattering. Then mentioning a dagger in a video game, I don't think it's so much of a mind-blowing, melting experience. Which I'm still wondering what the hell would have melted Kevin Smith's brain about that ending, Rise of Skywalker. I'm still thinking about it. I have no idea. I have no idea.
We're not. Hold on.
50 days away.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are less than 2 months away.
50 days away, man.
So anyway, that's coming out. Look for that. Oculus and ILM Labs. And the final thing is earlier this week, Hayden Christensen was at Galaxy's Edge with his daughter, riding the Smuggler's Run ride, as well as just taking her around. Thought it was kind of cool. We posted the pictures that somebody posted on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so go check those out. And
Hayden's popping up a lot of places, Star Wars like, man.
That's why a lot of people are speculating that he's coming back for episode 9.
Popping up a lot of places. There's also been a lot of rumors and pictures that have been leaked from the episode 9 set, where I'm not even going to get into it because I don't even want to know if it's true or not. I'm trying to stay away from it as much as possible. Like Frank Costanza. I want to go in fresh. John. It's a Festivus for the rest of us, okay?
Dude, Jesus.
You need to watch Seinfeld. It's a good show.
So he's been popping up a lot of places. A lot of people making
Frank Costanza?
No.
Jerry?
Hayden Christensen.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people are saying, I bet he didn't have to wait in line. And people are like, you don't have to wait in line at Galaxy's Edge. There's nobody there to wait. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, we're just, like, taking jabs every which way we can here.
Hopefully it's the same case when we get there.
I know. So, anyway, he was out and see the pictures. And then finally, Tuesday, November 5th, we have Resistance Reborn book release to the masses.
That's true. So. That's true. If you don't have an
Dave, you
Audible
gonna pick it up?
I don't know. I've got plenty of Audible credits. I have yet to select what I'm going to utilize these things for. I don't know. I kind of wanted to start listening to the Game of Thrones books. I've got enough credits to cover the spread. I just don't know if I want to get into that or I'm going to want to ingest this Resistance Reborn. I don't know. What about you? You gonna listen to it? Is it on your radar?
No.
Have you started Thrawn again?
I did.
Did you now? How far are you in it? 2 minutes.
Like chapter 1. No, I'm further than 10 minutes, but I'm in chapter 1. So I had to restart it a couple times just because I was like, wait a minute. And then I'm like, okay, I got this. So I haven't like gotten deep into it yet, but I'm listening to it. So you were gonna make a comment. So Dave was talking about if you don't have an Audible account, head on over to our Facebook page. The first picture link on the top of our Facebook page is a link to a free Audible subscription for 30 days and 2 free audiobooks. If you're choosing sign up today, an email that doesn't already have an Audible account, you get that 30-day free trial and 2 free books. And also, if you're in the market for a lightsaber, head on over to our friends at ultrasabers.com. And when you go to checkout in the coupon code area, you can enter Force Fields, all one word, all caps, and you'll receive 10% off from the Rule of Two, a Star Wars podcast. It does not work on clearance items or accessories. That's all I have today, Dave. What about you?
That's it. That's all I got.
We thank you for tuning in today. We are the Rule of Two, a Star Wars podcast. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Thank you for tuning in today. We are The Rule of Two, a Star Wars podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Rule of Two Pod. Check us out on our website at www.theruleoftwopodcast.com or send us an email via contact@theruleoftwopodcast.com. Check us out on Patreon and TeePublic for exclusive deals and merchandise. And we are in no way affiliated with Disney, Lucasfilms, or the Collider Podcast Rule of Two. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy. We